All right, so what do you think you want to do first when you're doing a story problem? Can anybody just yell out and tell them? What? I want something before the picture. Read the problem first. So, anybody want to read? Yeah, someone need to choose from. Go, read it. You got to do it loudly.
A small town is separated from the local power plant by mountainous terrain and separate points. Until now, electrical powers have been routed to a nearby city. The recent development of stronger wires permit direct wire to be constructed. Sighting of the town, the angle between the city and the power plant is 77.17 degrees. The distance between the city and the town is 123 kilometers. The distance from the power plant to the city is 156 kilometers. What is the distance out of the crowd between the town and the power plant?
Does anybody know what it means? That's an old saying. As the crow flies. Anybody know what that means? Anybody got a guess? Okay, that's a straight line distance. Like if I was in a city block, I could not walk from one corner to the diagonal corner because the buildings are in the way. But a crow can get above everything and fly straight. So this is just talking about a straight line. That's all that means. So on these problems, since we're doing law of sines and law of cosines on all these, after you read the problem, what should you draw? You should draw a triangle. So I'm just going to draw a triangle. It doesn't really matter what your triangle looks like. But I am going to put vertices on them, little points. So just draw a triangle. Now, we have to figure out what the vertices are. Do we all know what a vertex is? Anybody tell me what a vertex is? I didn't hear what you said.
X and Y.
Not really X and Y. What's a vertex from geometry? You did vertices in geometry with triangles. Anybody? It's where the segments meet. It's those little round dots I put on there. Those are the vertices. Where the two segments meet, there's three of them. Now we want to read through the problem again and figure out what those three vertices are supposed to represent from the information. Can anybody tell me what one vertex needs to be?
77.17.
No, I don't want any numbers. I want to know what they are in words.
The power plant.
One of them's a power plant, so I'm going to put over here by this one, power plant. You don't have to put it here. That's what I'm doing. What's another one?
City.
Okay, so over here I'm going to put a city. And what's the third thing? Town. So all you're going to do is label your vertices with the three things they represent from the problem. Now we're going to go in and put the numbers where they go. Okay, so now we're going to look for the numbers, and we want to put those in where they go. So I'm going to look at this first thing here. It says the angle between the city and the power plant is 77 degrees, 7.17 minutes, or degrees, sorry, 77.17 degrees. The angle between the city and the power plant. Now, from what I drew up here, can anyone tell me which vertex is that angle? Is it the power plant, the city, or the town? What's the angle between the power plant and the city? The town. It's the one that goes to make those things. So we're going to come right here and we're going to make this 77.17 degrees. That is that angle. That's the angle between the power plant and the city. Am I going too fast? Anybody? Okay, then the next thing it says, the distance between the city and the town is 123 kilometers. Can we all see where the city and the town is on the graph? So that segment is 123 kilometers. And then it says, the distance from the power plant to the city is 156. Can we find the power plant in the city? Power plant to the city is 156 kilometers. Now, does anybody, y'all see where all that comes from? This is the hardest part in the whole problem. This right here, I think. And then the question is, what is the distance between the town and the power plant? I'm gonna take where the distance is between town and the power plant. I'm gonna put an X. That is what I want, that distance right there. Can anyone tell me what are the three parts of the triangle they gave to us? Talking about sides and angles. What are the three parts called? Anybody? We got a side, and we have this angle here. Is that angle between the sides? So that's side angle. So we are actually supposed to check for a second triangle, which I'm going to do. There isn't one, but on the test, you only need the first triangle on a story problem, okay? I'm going to do the first one. All right? Now that is only in a story problem, not on the others. So since I'm given side angle, what have I asked you to use? Which thing, law of sines or law of cosines? Law of sines. Now, the only time I want you to use the law of cosines are what two instances? Side angle side or what? No angles. Side. Side angle side, that's the only time. All right, so now, X is, you don't have to solve the whole triangle usually. We want X, but in this case, we got to find something before we find the X. Actually, two somethings. Because of what's given me, I know that I have to use the 77.17, the 156, and the 123 for law of sines. What angle or what part do I have to find first? Okay, how am I going to find the city angle when I only the opposite side's an X? That's right. We got to get power plant angle because we know the 123. Do you see it? So I'm going to, and that since it's an angle, I'm going to find this angle first. I'm going to say the sine of the power plant, and you put an angle symbol there, is to 123 as the sine of 77.17 is to 156. Now, am I finding an angle? Yeah, so I'm going to say the angle of the power plant, and I have to do second sine. And I have to multiply the 123 up there with that, so this is going to be 123 times the sine of 77.17 divided by 156. Now, I do not need to DMS this because this is not the final thing I'm looking for. So you guys take your calculator and please hit second sine, 123 times the sine of 77.17 divided by 156. Anybody got it yet?
50.244.
Now that is an angle, so that's degrees. Now, hey, you got a longer decimal on there, so leave it on there. So I'm going to put over here, this is 50.244, ... Now I have to find the city angle because I need the city angle to get X. What do we always do to get the third angle? What? That's right. So I'm going to take 180 minus the angle I just found, and I'm going to use the whole decimal, minus the other given angle, which was 77.17. Will someone tell me what the city angle is in decimal degrees?
52.586 degrees.
52.58. Anybody else get the same thing? Did you say 58.53? No, 52.583?
586.
586. ... All right, so that's this angle. 52.586. ... Now I can find X. So I'm going to say X is. Anybody check theirs to make sure that's right? Anyone else get that? Please somebody check it, make sure we're getting the right numbers here. 52.586 is going to equal, and then I'm going to write down my given one, the 156 sine 77.17. Anybody else get that other angle?
Yeah.
Good. So we'll get this and we're almost done. So what do we get this x to be? Do you have to hit a second sign on this one? No, because this is a side. Anybody got anything?
127.078 kilometers.
127.0 what?
78.
Okay, now that is what we're looking for. Okay, I hope you're all listening carefully. We're almost done. On the test, I don't know if it says it on these directions because I haven't looked at the directions at the very beginning. Are y'all listening real quick? Everybody looking at me real quick? On the test, you must write a sentence to get the last point. You have to say it in a sentence. So you see the yellow thing I highlighted? You should go back to that to write your sentence. So when you write your sentence on this, you're gonna look at this yellow part. You're gonna take this part out. What is? Take it out. And you're gonna say the distance, and you do not need to put in as the crow flies, between the town and the power plant. Now, do you see how I almost wrote what it said up there except for the question part? Y'all see how I just took what was up here, the distance between the town and the power plant. You see how I use that? That's what you should do. And you should say is, and I'm going to put about because we rounded. I'm going to say is about 127.078 kilometers. Now that's how you're supposed to answer a question in a story problem. That's what you're doing. You have 6 more to do today. All of you also have the last worksheet from last week that you've not done. So you got the rest of the period, you got 26 minutes that you can work on this stuff. Hey, if you get stuck, what can you do? You can ask questions, right? I will help you out. So I'd like you guys to start working on that, and when you get done, if you get done with the worksheet before, I want you to turn it in. If not, we're going to turn everything else in tomorrow.